Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another beautiful episode of Controversial Controversy on Nofsi TV. I am your most delectable host, Empress, and on today's episode, I have with me in the studio a man of valor, a youth advocate, a social media influencer, a loving father, and a respectable husband. Welcome with me, Mr. Yemi Fash. Good afternoon, Mr. Oluyemi.
Good afternoon, Empress. How are you doing?
I'm very well. You look so handsome as usual.
Yeah, I like the social part of it.
Okay, Yemi Fash. The brand Yemi Fash as a social media influencer, how did it start?
Okay, this Yemi Fash is not a brand, and social media influencing is part of the brand. So I'll talk about the start of the social media, all of it. It started around 2015, and I read business administration in school. It had nothing to do with media. Before 2015, I was never engaged in anything that has to do with publicity or media. I was just doing my normal, the usual thing we do on social media. But in 2015, I joined a political campaign of a family friend who was aspiring to be governor of our state. Because of the closeness with the family, I wanted to be part of the success story and all. So I joined, and I was looking for an avenue to fit into the campaign. And the best place I could fit in was the social media support, and which I joined, and we started. That made me fall in love with Twitter. And the campaign went for a few months, and at the end of the campaign, I was so addicted to Twitter. Like, it was my favorite app, moving away from Facebook and the rest. So I was just into doing my thing on Twitter, tweeting my opinions, my expressions, my view about national issues and all of that. And I noticed people were following me. At a point, it was not an issue. Like, I wasn't taking it seriously. I wondered why. If you go back and search my tweets when I had maybe 10, 20, or 30K followers, I'm always writing like, oh, thanks for following me, even though I don't know why people are following me, because I was not actually really serious with, whatever it was then. But I was always expressing my feelings, hearing my opinion around national issues, topics, trending issues, and all of that. So it continued until one day, I remember I was in the club, and my account hit like 50K followers. So at that point, I felt like my consciousness was raised like, oh, if you have 50,000 people following you, like organically, it's more like you're in an auditorium and you're speaking to like 50,000 people. At least 10,000 out of those 50,000 people are listening to you. And a few of them probably sees you like somebody they can emulate, somebody they can see as a mentor, somebody they can, you know how people rate, followership and all. So at that point, I felt like, no, I think I need to rebrand. It's now, I should get this serious. So at that point, I thought like, oh, I need to rebrand, take this more seriously, be careful of what I tweet, because now a lot of people read from me, be sure that I'm not misleading people. A lot of people must have been looking up to me, because if a whole lot of people engages my tweets, before you engage a post on social media, so that you like it, you dislike it, or you just want to share for engagement, for other people to just see it. So I knew somehow I must have been influencing certain people, especially the peers, people who are younger than me, or probably who are my peer group and all of that. So I branded at that point. I started censoring what I tweet. I ensured that it was something that would add value to people who are following me for whatever reason they were following me. And then I decided to start taking some online classes around digital marketing, social media influencing, to kind of have the understanding. So at that point, I commercialized my page. So like, oh, if I have 50,000 people following me, reading from me, I should make money from this now. You get. So I started the Yemi Fash brand, created a brand, had a logo for myself, and fast forward, we are here.
And here we are. Yeah, so talking about your brand, Yemi Fash brand, I noticed you use it for youth advocacy a lot. So how did the journey of youth advocacy start?
So at the point that I knew I already had a platform, like, oh, I can make this go viral. When I speak, a lot of people get to see it. I felt like, oh, and at that point, I already commercialized my page. Oh, people were coming to this airport post this and they pay me. Big brands, I'm talking about DSTV, KFC, a lot of people come and they're like, oh, airports post this. Oh, this is what I charge, they pay. Okay, now I've commercialized this page, I'm making money from it. It can also be a platform, a voice for people who do not have a voice. And that is why I felt like, oh, I want to make the account, my page accessible to almost everybody so that if there are people who need to be heard, who don't have the voice, the platform that I have, they can easily make good use of it at no cost to them, especially to seek justice, social justice, and of those who have been abused. If you know my antecedent, you understand how our End SARS Reform Police campaign, which started in 2017, not the one you people do in 2020. We actually started that in 2017, engaging police, engaging the authorities as to the need for professional policing and all of that. It was just me using that platform for other people to benefit from it.
You talked about the NSAS thing that you started in 2017. After the 2017, coming down to 2020, you meeting with Segalink and a lot of that, we see a lot of things you do on social media. So this your platform. Would you say it has helped a lot of people in this aspect? And this 2020 NSAS thing, were you also a part of the movement? Did you at any point lead this movement?
Okay, it is because we are in a country like Nigeria. We already called the attention of the government to the misconduct, professional misconduct of SARS and some other tactical units of police at that time. Between 2017 and 2020. I can categorically tell you that we have sponsored bill, the police reform bill, police trust fund bill. We sponsored all that, had the attention of the presidency. That was the time the acting president then, in person of former Vice President Osibanjo, called for the overhauling of SARS. It was our activities. Our activity. And that should be around maybe 2019 or 2018, I'm not sure. But they did not actually take it serious. If they are taking our applications, our complaints, because at that point, we were not actually pushing protests. We felt like, oh, let us compile all these evidences that we have, compile all the complaints using that hashtag. That's why at that point people were submitting, uploading their experiences with, rogue policemen at one point and the other. We compiled all of this, made it, push it forward, forward for the agencies, the government to see and to do something about it. But they did not, and that is why we had the fallout in 2020. You understand? So the 2020, yes, we were part of it because considering the fact that we initiated the NSAS thing and all of that then, which was primarily for the policing system to be better and be that, of global standard, one that will function for us as citizens and for everybody. But then the NSAS happened, the protests in 2020 happened, and we saw all of what even though it's avoidable if the government had done the needful. And you cannot blame the people that came out too, because if you ask every Nigerian youth at a point in their life, directly or indirectly, almost everybody have experienced police professional misconduct. Maybe your relative, your neighbor, your spouse, you have somebody you know closely that can tell you how they have been treated badly by the same people who are paid with taxpayers' money to protect them. So at that point, you can't blame people who came out to protect with that, in that manner. And that was what we saw in 2020. Thank God we had 2020 and it left. It didn't take down the country because it was actually going, it was really going south. But then thank God at a point we got back ourselves, and I'm just hoping that it will get better because we're almost getting back to those things that we complain about. And that's because the government's negligence.
Talking about going south, I could remember the Lekki toll gates where the 2020 NSAS happened. There was a bloodshed, according to the news, but a lot of the government said there was nothing like that. Can you shed light a bit? I know it's throwing you back, but then can you shed light a bit
What
on
happened in
this?
October 20, 2020 was the government sending security operatives to go and shoot at armless protesters. Peaceful protesters, people who were not causing any harm, people who were just at the Lekki toll gate having a concert. If you've checked before that day, there were musicians who came on that day to play and all. They were not destroying anything, they were not doing anything. Yes, I will not say that there were not other activities of some persons or who are taking advantage of that situation to probably perpetrate other evils, but it was not happening at that Lekki toll gate, probably elsewhere. That Lekki toll gate was the most peaceful protest venue in the country at that point. So there was no need to send soldiers there. So if you want to say if the government can say whatever they like, but the soldier, you know how soldiers work, the military, they don't just leave their barrack to go. They live on orders. So somebody must have ordered them. Nobody wants to take responsibility. But the fact remains that the government cannot say that they are not aware of the military presence at that venue that led to the death of many innocent Nigerians who were merely asking to be treated like normal human beings in their own country.
Talking about governments, I noticed you write a lot of letters to the governor of the states. Have you in any way seen any positive response to your letters?
Well, okay, this is it. If I wanted to go to the governor office and say, yes, I can, I think I have that opportunity. I think everybody should have. But then the essence of the open letters is to call the attention of everybody, not just the person the letter is addressed to. Is to raise our consciousness around certain issues. So when I write letters, I feel like, oh, I must have gathered the public opinion of people. The last time on Twitter I posted like, oh, please, under my tweets, can we have pictures, video evidences of bad roads in the state? Because a lot of people were in my DM saying that, oh, we have bad roads, we have this and all of that. So I wanted to collect that. I live in Akure, I can't be everywhere. You understand? But thank God for social media that can bring all of these things to us. So I followed the trend, the comments, and all of that. The other things that I found out on my own. That was what initiated my own last letter when the governor returned from his medical leave. So most times when I write letters like this, I want everybody to start talking about it. Because at that point, you see, there's something about our government. When it's just your voice, they don't talk. Like if I put a call, if I have the access to maybe Mr. President or Mr. Governor, I'm like, oh, this is the problem of the youth. This is what we are facing. They'll probably say, oh, Yemi, yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll see what we can do and all of that. But then when we have like everybody talking about it and he's seen it himself in the TV, in the radio, on the street and all of that, like, oh, in WhatsApp groups and all of that, it has more effect. So that's what I do with open letters, just to let everybody understand that we should start talking about it, that we have issues we should address from the angle of the government and from the angle of the citizens.
Yeah, talking about it, I'm still on this letter issue.
Okay.
You're calling the awareness of the governor himself. So
Yes.
some of your letters that you've directed to him and to the public, has he done anything like about the issues you raised?
Honestly, most times when I write open letters, I see the effect.
Okay. So we can say our governor is listening.
Yes, now, either by force or by, yes, he has to listen to us, because when it becomes a public discussion, like the last time we were talking about the Ondo, Akure Ondo road, that just got broken recently, and it was part of the issues I raised, and because that road is a federal road, the state government wanted to act like it wasn't their responsibility, even though it was affecting us directly. You get. But at the point when all of us start talking about it, I think they are there trying to fix it. So sometimes we need to scream, shout, because we are in Nigeria.
Tell us about Dalar Foundation.
Dalar Foundation was founded in 2012, and I've always been a lover of children, so I've always wanted to have an opportunity to share what I have with children, especially those who can afford those things, and it just started growing. And in 2020, between 2012 and 2020, we did a lot of things that was not even documented, like crowdfunding for my friend, taking it to different charity homes and all of that. But in 2020, I decided to, define it, and because the vision, my intention actually was just to be able to affect children, not just children, but indigent children, the ones who don't have access to the basic amenities, who don't have the usual, comforts, necessities that normal children should have. And that was why what brought about the Dalar Foundation recent activities. We've been on a project tagged "No Child Should Be Left Behind" for about 3 years, where I'm targeting about affecting 60,000 pupils, indigent pupils in Ondo states who can afford writing material. So what I do is I related with the Ministry of Education through Superb. Superb is in charge of the primary schools, and I told them my intention, and they asked for what I wanted. I told them I just want a list of the indigent children in the public primary school. So they wrote to the HMs and the headmistresses and all of that to help them identify these children, because I'm aware that it is not all the children in public primary schools that are indigent. Some are living in the farm, they're on the farms, that all these rich farmers, but because of distance, their children has to be in the farm too, in the localities to school. So you cannot just say categorically that all the children in public primary schools are indigent. We have some of them that are doing very well. Some parents just want their children to go through it. So I wanted to affect the ones who actually needed it. So Superb helped us to identify those ones. So the HMs went through the schools, gave us a list of the children. We had a name, they gave us a name which was transferred to me. And so each time we are going to any of these schools, we've covered about 7 local governments already. Gone to more than 50 schools or thereabouts. So what we do is, whichever local government I'm going to, I'll call them at Superb. They link me up with their local government officer of that local government where the school we are going to is, and so that will meet up with us, and we'll go there together. So it could introduce us to the school, because sometimes the schools can be reluctant since they don't know where you're coming from. They just don't want to give you access to the children. So it makes it all easy for us working with Superb and Ministry of Education, and we've done a lot. Like, we've affected more than 10,000 children already. Like, yes, more than that, so way more than that, and we're looking to do more. But just the basic thing is, I enjoy the fact that, yeah, if you're a lover of children, you know it. For people who are close to me, they know that there's never a time a child come around me, I have something to give the child, either it's indigent or not. Like, it's my thing. You get, if you open my boots now, I have something there for children all the time. So that's just me too, and I like it that I was able to create a platform for myself that makes it easier, especially targeting the type of children that I want to reach out to.
So 60,000 children. How do you get the fund? Like, how do you?
Okay, funding is not easy, because sometimes, recently, that majority has been from my personal fund. But then, by virtue of what God has made me to be, I have plenty people around me that comes around to support. Like, oh, Yemi, I like what you're doing. How can we assist? And most times I just tell you, please print books for us. You get 1,000, 2,000. They ask me, how do we go about it, please? This is the person that prints for us. This is what we want. I have somebody that sends me mathematical sets. My cousin in Lagos. That's all he does. I can hold up. Like, this is what I want to support with. So that's how it comes. But then I think majority of the funds comes from me, because I need to meet my targets. The targets I have, as to how many people I want to meet I want to how many kids I want to reach out to in a month, within a session. So
That's wonderful.
thank
As
you.
an influencer, I've seen videos of you where you flaunt your tattoo. I think this is not affecting other people that look up to you, like, because we all know that in this part of the world, they see tattoos and other body painting and all as taboo. Sign that you are not a serious person.
Okay. I know a lot of people have different opinions about tattoo, but me wearing a tattoo was symbolic to 2 things. Number one, I wanted to clear the hair. Make you ask yourself if truly wearing tattoo makes anybody bad. Evans, the popular kidnapper that was arrested the last time, does not have any tattoo. You go and check most of these bad people, they don't have. And if it is not a crime, in the country, I'm a Yoruba boy, a well-read Yoruba boy, I don't think it's a taboo in the Yoruba land. In fact, some of our parents had something written on my grandma used to have her name written on her arm and all of that. So it's not a crime in terms of the constitution or whatever. If we're talking about maybe tradition or culture, well, I'm a Yoruba boy. I speak from the angle of being a Yoruba boy. It's not a crime. It's not abnormal too. So we talk about morality, the morality and all of that, where the misconception is always is. So I wear my title. I have one here. Ifeoluwa Todimun, that's the name of my son. And I always ask people that look at it, you're wondering why I'm wearing a tattoo. Does it make me a bad person? Am I a bad person? Most of them will say, no, you're not a bad person. So why should tattoo make anyone a bad person? Why do you want to judge people by what they choose to wear? People pierce their hair, people wear dreadlocks. The new pastor for one of the popular churches now has plenty tattoo now and dreadlocks. Does it make him a child of Satan? Does it make him unworthy of that position? Okay, so I'm actually trying to preach that, oh, you're wearing a tattoo does not speak about who you are. It could be, I have two actually, I have one here, the name of my daughter.
Well, that is one. It's a good way to tell people that they shouldn't look down on people that
Yes, it's
have.
going to take time because some people, like, I posted the video yesterday, I made a picture and somebody was like, hey, Pastor, you have tattoo. I didn't answer that person because I was not in the mood. But I know that I'm forcing into it because if you check most of my status, if I'm going to show something, I start with this. You get. Apart from the fact that I like the name Ifeoluwato Dimu because I'm a church boy, I'm a godly person, I'm from a very godly home. Popsy, Momsy are pastors, they are GOs, you get. So I understand spirituality and all. I understand what it means when you speak something into existence, how it works for you and all of that. So far away from that, I just want people to understand that, oh, you can wear a tattoo and not be a bad person. And bad people, not all of them wear tattoo.
So let's divert a bit away
Okay.
from you. So the death of this popular musician Mubad, I saw you were out for the protest also. What angle are you coming from about his death? Because a lot of people are saying he was killed. A lot of people are saying it is his family. A lot of people are saying it is his record label. So what angle are you on?
Okay, I'm just going to be free-minded about it because, but one thing that is certain is there is something we don't know about that death. Starting from how the death was announced to the rush to bury him. Then immediately the family started deliberating about properties, even while he was yet to be buried. There was a video I saw before when they brought his casket to the grave. They were digging the grave and people were speaking already about maybe the wife family and some properties and all of that. So a lot of things surrounding his death and what I'm just sure of is this Mohbad's death, the outrage, and the investigation, I mean, the one that the government has ordered into the cause of his death is going to reveal a lot of things that is happening, that should not be happening in our music industry. Because we cannot shy away from the fact that that guy experienced a lot of bullying from his former record label. Yeah, a lot of people are attributing it to cultism, to this and all of that. That's why. But then, I feel like let us wait. The investigation was to last for 2 weeks, right? Let's see the outcome and keep fingers crossed. But it's just unfortunate that the boy had to die the way he died, and because for somebody who was healthy in the money, like went out like a normal human being, healthy in the money, and before the end of the day, we just saw him dead. So and I think another thing I feel the government should do is, I think autopsy should be compulsory for every before certification of death. It should be a normal thing, like so that like we would not even probably need to go for the to exhume the body and all of that because what if these revelations didn't come out immediately? What if it start coming out like 6 months after? Are we saying we'll now go after 6 months to go and exhume the body and to try to find out what happened? So I think the government should consider that, I mean, putting that into law, I mean, making it a law that when someone's died, what's it called? Before you certify that person dead, subject the person to autopsy. And it should be paid by the government or not by, it should be free.
What do you think about this? People saying it was probably buried alive and then his wife should be called to questioning and his father should also be called to questioning.
I don't want to speculate, but what I know, if you ask me, is everybody around Mohbad is a suspect, as it is, from the wife to the parent, because considering how he died, you get everybody around him. I mean, around him, in the last 3 months should be a suspect.
Okay. So yeah, also there's this saying or there's this news about where how his death was announced. That's it was in a car and some people were doing the video. I was like, oh, Mohbad is dead, Mohbad is dead, Mohbad is dead. Me as a person, I believe those people in that video should be called for
They are the
questioning
primary suspect. Huh?
because
The body was found with them. He was last seen with them. They are the primary suspect.
Okay, so we are on the same side of that.
Yes.
So it's been wonderful speaking with you, Mr. Yemi Fash.
Thank you for taking my time.
It's been an amazing moment here, and we do hope to see more of you.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Say so. What do you have to say to our viewers out there?
Yeah, sure. I'll direct this to the young people who consider youth in the country. See, there's something about you adding value to yourself. It's important. Whatever you do, make sure you're aspiring at being a better version of yourself. Seriously. It doesn't help you now, it will help you in future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an amazing moment here in North Seat Studio. And until next time, when I'll be bringing you another juicy episode of Controversial Controversy, I am still your most delectable host, Empress. And it is North Seat TV on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell.